Archangel Michael is trying to deliver this message. 2 minutes left. Someone is going to surprise you tonight, because open it quickly. Archangel Michael says you were not meant to read this by chance, and yet here you are with only 2 minutes left and a door about to swing wide on a night you will remember for the rest of your life. The air around you knows it, the rhythm of your own heartbeat knows it, and the clock you keep glancing at feels heavier with each passing second. The message I carry is urgent, precise, and wrapped in a blessing that won't miss its target. You have been sensing a hush before a storm, a quiet that isn't empty but waiting. There is a presence arranging itself around your path like hands cupping a candle from the wind. I am here to make sure that flame doesn't go out before it becomes a beacon. At night, someone steps forward not by accident but by alignment. They have been moved, pressed, and nudged by currents they cannot name, and yet their feet will find the exact stone to stand on when your eyes meet. What looks like a simple surprise is in truth a woven answer to prayers you barely dared to whisper. Before the door opens, you need to steady the ground beneath you. Breathe in deeply through your nose, slow and full, and let your spine remember how tall your spirit really is. Breathe out through your mouth and let every doubt fall like dust from your shoulders. Your life has been full of corridors. Some lit brightly, some dim and narrow. You learned how to walk by faith between walls that didn't always welcome you, and still you kept moving. Because you kept stepping, the moment you asked for is stepping toward you now. The timing is no accident because there are threads only heaven can see. You are stepping into a weaving that started before you knew its colors, and now the pattern is ready to show itself. The surprise tonight is a knot that pulls every loose strand into meaning. Here is something about your name that has begun to ring like a bell. It has traveled through rooms where people spoke about you, doubted you, defended you, and secretly admired the light you carried even when you didn't notice it yourself. Your name is about to be spoken with a new kind of respect. Listen closely. Not every knock deserves your attention, but this one will carry a temperature you can feel. It will not demand. It will hum quietly with rightness, like a note that dissolves fear. When it arrives, you will know because your chest will feel suddenly spacious, like a window thrown open in spring. You are not unprepared, even if you feel you are. The roads you walked, the decisions that cost you sleep, the letting go that felt like loss, all of that was training. The night converts training into trust. There is a fear that keeps pretending to be caution. It tries to count reasons not to hope because disappointment is a pain you learn too well. We are not asking you to be reckless. We are asking you to be ready. Preparation is sacred, and yours is simple. Clear the space nearest your front door or the place where you usually greet incoming messages so that nothing physical blocks the blessing's path. Light doesn't argue with clutter. It simply waits for room. You heard whispers that tried to rename you as average, replaceable, late. Those whispers were never yours. The one who comes tonight cannot hear them over the certainty ringing in their own spirit. Your task is to stand in your own name. Clean your hands as a sign you release what clung to you from a day that wasn't kind. Touch your chest and say quietly, I am ready for what is aligned with me. And mean it. I have watched you practice courage in small rooms where no one clapped. I saw you hold kindness like a lantern for people who only knew how to take and not how to thank. Heaven took notes, and heaven is not forgetful. There is a gift traveling toward you with a steady pulse. It may be a person with words they rehearsed 100 times, or a message that lands with timing too perfect to be called a coincidence. Either way, it brings a key, and keys do only one thing. They turn. There were delays that were in denials, only rerouting. You have called those seasons barren, but they were reservoirs filling in silence. The gift tonight draws from those waters. When it happens, you will feel the hairs on your arms lift, not from fear, but from recognition. Your body understands truth faster than your mind does. Trust the immediates that follows the first surprise. If your heart begins to race, place your palm flat over it and count slowly to 7. Speak softly to yourself the way you would to someone you love. Tell yourself you are safe, you are seen, you are supported. Here is a reason the timing says 2 minutes left. This is not to rush you, but to crystallize your attention. The focus you place now will magnify what arrives. Do one more thing. Forgive the last person who made you doubt your worth. You do not have to invite them back into your life. Letting go is not the same as letting in, but loosening that knot opens your hand to receive. You are not a mistake that somehow fell into the right place. You are a strategy, a melody chosen for this exact evening, tuned and tempered through heat. Music is coming to meet music. I have shielded you from conversations that would have poisoned your timing. You were kept out of rooms that looked important but would have pulled you sideways. The path is narrow not to limit you, but to aim you. Here is a rhythm tonight. 3 breaths, 3 steps, and then the opening. Breathe and step now, even if only in place, to tell your body the new chapter has a physical doorway. When the knock comes, you will already be in motion. Do not apologize for wanting what's about to be offered. Dreaming is not greed. It is agreement with your design. The one who comes is not a thief. They are a return. If it arrives as a person, you will notice their eyes hold a calm that quiets the room. If it arrives as a message, the very first line will feel like sunlight on stone. Either way, it will greet your spirit before it greets your face. There was an old story about you that did not know how to end. It kept looping, repeating, tiring you out with the same ache told in slightly different words. Tonight writes the last paragraph of that story and sets a new preface on the table. You will not need to explain yourself to this blessing. It already knows your language because heaven taught it your cadence. There will be no wrestling match, only recognition. To protect this moment, turn down the volume on everything else for a while. Notifications can wait. Opportunities can wait. Curiosity can wait. Keep the line clear for what matters most. There is a cloak that has tried to hide you. It smelled like doubt, felt like shame, and fit too well for too long. I lift it now, feel how much lighter you are without it. A long-awaited sentence is on its way to your ears. I choose you. I'm ready. Here's the proof, but this is for you. Whatever the words, the meaning will land like home. Take a moment to imagine where you will place this gift when it comes. A drawer, a folder, a memory slot in your heart with a label you can find. Order is a form of gratitude. Your past is not cancelled. It is curated. You will look back and see a series of stepping stones glistening behind you. Gratitude will rise not as obligation but as an accurate description of reality. Do not let old fear speak for you at the door. You have given it enough stage time. Tonight, confidence answers and hospitality pours the water. There is a scent to good timing. The way rain carries the smell of dust right before it falls. Your aiming is that scent now. A wind is shifting in your favor. Listen for 3 signs. A small pause that feels unusually peaceful. A sudden clarity about what you truly want. And a warmth across your shoulders as if someone put a shawl there. When you notice any one of these, smile. Agreement has entered the room. When you notice all 3, know the surprise stands right outside. You ask for confirmation because the cost of hope wants done. Heaven is kind about scores. It uses them as windows, not walls. Expect gentleness in the way this unfolds. If tears come, let them. Tears are not weakness. They are translation. You are switching languages from survival to arrival. Your hands will be tempted to shake, let them, if they must, and then let them still. Place them open on your knees to say, without speaking, I receive. There is joy walking up your steps. It has the softest footsteps and the brightest hands. It does not rush. It simply knows it is right on time. Remember the hallway you thought had no end. It did, and you are standing at it. The doorway at the end is not locked. It is waiting for your hand. You are not here to brace for impact. You are here to welcome arrival. Put away the flinch that used to guard you. Replace it with a welcome that honors what is holy in you. Someone else has been practicing courage too. They all must talk themselves out of this a dozen times today and still kept going. They are closer than you think, and they will not turn back. If doubt tries a last-minute trick, give it a soft nod and then refuse to follow. Doubt can attend the show, but it cannot direct it. You are the one with the ticket and the seat with your name on it. I have placed guardians at your corners tonight. If you feel a firmness at your back, that is protection standing with you. If you sense lightness above your head, that is favor resting on you. When this begins, time may feel strange. Minutes will stretch where seconds used to sprint. That is what happens when eternity puts a hand on your clock. If an apology arrives with this surprise, receive what is true and release what is not. You are not obligated to carry someone else's unfinished work. You are free to accept gifts without adopting debts. There will be a moment when your breath catches and then evens into a new rhythm. That is the exact second a chapter turns. Watch how the room looks different with the page flipped. You have not missed your turn. The lines that look endless haven't moved you quietly to the front at the right moment. That moment is now. Hold kind boundaries around your joy. Let everyone can understand a garden that grew where they expected a desert. You do not need anyone's permission to bloom. Take 1 minute after the surprise to be still. Let the newness settle into your bones. Name this night in your mind so you can return to it later like a landmark. The person who comes will say something that solves a puzzle you stopped trying to solve. The message that lands will close a loop you forgot was open. Relief will arrive like rain through a skylight. Your steps after this will feel more certain. You will find yourself reaching for tasks that used to scare you and finding them suddenly reachable. You will write plans that once felt too large and then watch them fit. Do one last preparation. Smile at the future even if the corners of your mouth barely move. That tiny curve is faith's signature. Sign here and the contract of your next season activates. If your room feels too quiet, put on a song that never lies to you. Let it play softly, a backdrop for arrival. If silence feels right, keep it. Silence is music for angels. Your phone may light up at the exact second the knock would have happened if not in person. Notice the synchronization. Heaven can use any door it pleases. If the surprise is a voice note, play it with both ears. If it is a ring at the door, answer with both feet steady. If it is an email, read it with both eyes open and your shoulders relaxed. There will be a detail in the first 30 seconds that only you will understand. It will feel like your initials engraved on something that looks ordinary from a distance. That is how you will know this is truly yours. When gratitude rises, do not choke it back. Let it speak in the language of thank yous, gentle nods, and peaceful breaths. Gratitude is the way you keep the window open for more light. I will be near as this unfolds. You may feel a brush of calm at your neck or a warmth traveling down your spine. That is not imagination. That is companionship. If memories flash from the seasons, do not shove them down. Set them on a shelf and tell them, kindly, look how far we've come. They will grow quiet in respect. What you receive tonight will not drain you. It will plug you into a current that recharges what daily life has been using up. You will sleep deeper because of it. You may wake tomorrow with a different posture. You might stand an inch taller, though your height hasn't changed. That is what dignity does when it returns to its right address. Keep a pen near you. Write the first 3 words that come to mind after the moment lands. Those 3 words will be a compass for the next 90 days. Do not be surprised if kindness follows you more easily after this. Doors will open without you pounding on them. People will remember promises they made and finally keep them. If anyone tries to minimize this moment, smile and save your breath. Some things are not for debate. They are for living. Your life will be the testimony without a speech. You will notice small coincidences clustering like stars. Times repeating on the clock. Names reappearing. Symbols that carry the shape of your hope. Pay attention not for superstition, but for confirmation. As you move into the rest of the night, carry yourself like someone who knows. Not arrogant. Not apologetic, just accurate. Accuracy is humility wearing truth. The ground under you is not fragile. It was reinforced while you thought nothing was happening. Step with confidence. It will hold. If you must wait a few extra moments past the 2 minutes, remember that ovens hold heat beyond the timer. The bread is still rising. The crust is becoming gold. Perfection is not late. It is exact. You are allowed to be happy without a reason others accept. You are allowed to accept gifts others don't understand. You are allowed to start again in the middle of your own story. The one who comes tonight is not here to test you. They arrive to honor what you already passed without bragging. Let yourself be honored. Remember how many nights you wondered if anything would ever change. Tonight answers the question with a calm, unhurried yes. It does not shout. It settles. You will want to share immediately with someone you trust. Choose your confidant with wisdom and kindness. Protect what is tender until it is strong enough to stand in public light. What you walk into after this will have edges that fit your hands. The work will still require effort, but the effort will feel meaningful rather than exhausting. Meaning has always been your fuel. You were never behind. You were becoming. The timeline written for you includes detours that turned into vistas. Breathe in the view. I leave you with this. Stand ready, not rigid. Softness is not weakness. It is absorbent. Let the good soak in. And when the moment arrives, because it will receive it with the quiet authority of someone who finally recognizes their reflection. You are the match for the promise on your doorstep. This is your night. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $1.20. The second hand leans into the next mark and the air blooms with certainty. The lamp glow becomes kinder, like it understands, like it has been waiting to see your face soften. Silence turns from empty to full, the way a still lake holds the whole sky without rippling. A soft pressure gathers behind your shoulder blades, not heavy. Just present, like an unseen hand straightening the fabric of your courage. Breath moves through you with new discipline and your chest listens. Even the floorboards seem to listen. The first sign arrives as warmth at the base of your neck, a shawl of reassurance settling. Your name rises in your own thoughts and sounds like home. The atmosphere chooses your side. There is movement near the door, not loud, not timid, simply aligned. The pause before the sound feels ceremonial, as if the evening has held a note for as long as it could and now must release it. Then the signal comes, small and sure, like a heart knocking from the other side of skin. Your body recognizes before words assemble. Shoulders let go of an old lift. Jaw unclenches. Eyes sharpen without hardening. You stand with the grace of someone who finally believes the ground will hold. Memory stirs, not to argue but to witness. It brings you images of versions of you who waited without proof and still tended to small hopes. Those versions stand in a quiet row and nod, proud that you did not abandon them. The handle turns with that exact click that always sounded ordinary until this second. Air exchanges across the threshold like two friends embracing, light from the hallway threads into your room and braids with the lamp glow. If the surprise is a person, their eyes find you the way rivers find oceans. If the surprise is a message, the words at the top carry the same steady gaze. Either way, a hush drops into the center of the room and you understand that the room has never been this honest. There is no need to rush. Timing is already working on your behalf. You are the host of a moment you prayed for, and the moment behaves like a polite guest. You notice a detail that could only be for you. A phrase they use that you used to whisper to yourself in the dark. An object you once imagined holding that now rests plainly in your hands. The voice you hear carries a calm that does not wobble. It does not oversell. It does not beg. It does not borrow confidence from noise. It carries itself the way truth carries itself, with a softness that still holds steel inside. Words form simple shapes that easily fit the doorway of your mind. They are not complicated. They are clean. They smell like open windows and new paper. You can feel the years unclasp a little. A hinge you did not know was rusted gets oil. Places in you that were braced learn the posture of arrival. If an apology is here, it arrives without theatrics. If a confession is here, it arrives without performance. If an invitation is here, it arrives without push. Grace stands next to you like a tall friend. You can lean if you need to. You are allowed to be held while you receive. Breath returns to a rhythm that feels like a drum you finally learned to play. The body understands safety before the mind writes it down. Your hands stop hovering and find a comfortable place to live. There is a parcel within the parcel, a second blessing tucked inside the first. It might be a promise with signatures you can trust. It might be a plan with steps your feet already know how to climb. Old stories try to gain last-minute relevance. They shuffle in the hallway as if a costume change could make them new. You let the door stay closed to them and the hallway grows quiet. You listen for the resonance beneath the event. A frequency that tells you this is not a one-night circus. It is a beginning with legs, a road that will keep appearing as you walk. You ask nothing aloud because the room already answers what mattered. The answer lands like a stone in a river, sure of its own place. Ripples expand without hurry. You do a simple act to seal the moment. You pour water and hand a glass without shaking. You write down 3 words that appeared in your chest the instant the surprise crossed the threshold. Those 3 words fit like coordinates. They will guide you through the first 10 mornings of what comes next. When in doubt, you will return to them and find your compass lit again. The one who stands before you holds their courage like a candle cupped against the evening. You can see how much it took to come. You can see how much they want to stay. Guinness takes the first seat at the table. Pride stands in the doorway and decides to wait outside. Fear tries to whisper and finds no audience. You remember a promise you made to yourself on a smaller night. It never again shrieked to match someone else's comfort, to keep your light the same size regardless of the room. This moment honors that promise. It asks you to remain your full height. It asks you to receive without translating yourself into a lesser language. If papers are exchanged, they carry the weight of integrity rather than the heaviness of pressure. If hands meet, the grip is warm without possession. If plans are spoken, they are clear without cages. You allow your face to show what your spirit feels. Relief without collapse. Joy without apology. Readiness without edge. The night does something only holy timing can do. It stretches and makes room for everything that belongs and nothing that does not. Minutes lengthen exactly where depth is needed and shorten where mercy is kind. You had prayed for a miracle and trained for process. The 2 meet in the doorway like old friends. Momentum grows that is faithful rather than frantic. Remembrance moves gently through the room, collecting old shards with tenderness. This is not erasure. This is integration. What was broken becomes mosaic and the picture tells a better truth. The person or message before you carries verification that does not need a stamp. It is the verification of alignment, the kind that your body knows before your brain nods. Life hums a little louder wherever it stands true. The room smells different, like metal warmed by sunlight or rain waking up dry ground. The senses keep confirming what your soul has already concluded. Agreement has weight and buoyancy at once. You decide to bless the space with order. You place what was given where it can be honored and seen. You put away what belonged to older battles and leave only what belongs to the new road. Boundaries stand up straighter and smile. They do not need to be barbed to be strong. They do not need to be loud to be heard. Conversation flows without the stones of defensiveness underfoot. Silence appears between sentences and feels like silk, not ice. Even pauses feel productive. You notice your posture in the mirror and the way your eyes hold light differently. You recognize yourself without performing yourself. Authenticity settles into your shoulders like a perfectly tailored coat. Evening learns your name the way honest friends do. It says it softly and accurately. It says it in a way that makes your heartbeat nod along. A gift within the gift begins to work on you. Confidence returns as a quiet function rather than a show. Peace becomes operational rather than theoretical. You think about the mornings ahead and feel no dread hiding in the corners. The path forward is not suddenly effortless, it is suddenly meaningful. Meaning has always made you strong. There are promises inside you that now have room to breathe. They stretch their arms after years of sleeping cramped. The stretch feels like a song being tuned. The roux holds history and history releases its grip. You thank it for its lessons and feel it soften into memory rather than mandate. Task becomes reference rather than ruler. You craft a small ritual to mark the threshold. You open a window for a moment and let the night air touch everything that has changed. You close the window and keep the freshness inside. The person who came respects your pace and you respect theirs. There's no tug of war, only choreography. Two clocks find a shared tempo, gratitude rises a second time, deeper now, steadier. It does not flood you into overwhelm. It streams like a spring that knows it will keep flowing tomorrow. You look at your life with new eyesight and feel the tilt adjust. The picture levels where it once skewed. The horizon finds its true line. What was almost too late is finally right on time. What was almost too big now fits your hands. What was almost too heavy shares its weight and becomes possible. You decide which messages deserve a response and which deserve a respectful silence. Discernment sharpens like a blade kept oiled and cleaned. The world remains loud, but your center remains quiet. You place a simple note on your bedside table with the date and 2 sentences. The night earned its page. The night earned its tile. When the door closes or the screen dims, the air holds steady instead of collapsing. The moment lies on in the way you stand, the way you think, the way you breathe. Continuity replaces the old habit of sudden drop. Sleep will come later with a softness you have not known in a while. Before it does, you take one last look around and memorize the arrangement of peace. You do not cling to it. You invite it to reappear each morning. The blessing does not end when the visitor steps away or the notification fades. The blessing remains busy inside your days, setting tools on the right shelves and sketching routes on the map. You wake into a home where purpose has already brewed coffee. In the first week after this night, small doors open and stay open. People who once hesitated lean in with ease. You say yes where the yes is clean and no where the no is clean, and both feel like courage. You find yourself protecting your energy with gentleness rather than fear. You schedule rest like a responsibility, you treat joy like a nutrient. There is a moment on day 3 when you realize you are not waiting for the other shoe to drop. The old reflex rumbles and then dissolves. Safety is no longer a visitor. It has a key. Opportunities rise like stepping stones across a river you once thought too wide. You do not jump anxiously from stone to stone. You walk balanced without rush. Conversations with your own reflection grow kind. You thank yourself for staying when leaving would have been easier. You thank yourself for leaving where staying would have been self-betrayal. The surprise that began this chapter keeps unfolding in layers. Each layer reveals function rather than decoration. Each layer carries responsibility that feels like dignity rather than weight. You decide to share the news with one person who has earned the right to hear it. Their joy mirrors yours without trying to own it. They bless what is yours to hold and keep their hands off of what is not. On day 7, you revisit the 3 words you wrote and see how accurate they were. They still fit. They have deepened rather than dissolved. You write a simple plan with dates that feel realistic. You give your future room to be a partner rather than a tyrant. The plan smiles back because it recognizes your handwriting. When small resistance appears, you meet it with patience, not panic. You understand that the presence of resistance means motion. You do not negotiate your worth with friction. A new habit takes root slowly. You begin your mornings with the posture of a host ready to greet good things. You end your evenings by releasing what is finished back to the night. Every so often the memory of the exact second the surprise arrived plays in your mind like a favorite scene. It does not trap you in nostalgia. It reminds you that timing is a language you now speak. Courage no longer needs to raise its voice in you. It speaks in daily decisions that line up like soldiers who know their post. Consistency becomes the quiet miracle after the loud one. You notice that the people who are meant for the next part of your story find reasons to draw closer. Those who were meant for earlier chapters find gentle exits that honor what was. The cast adjusts and the play gets better. You have learned to keep your doors clean and your thresholds clear. You have learned to check whether a knock hums with truth before you open. You have learned to bless your own discernment. What began as 2 minutes of urgency has matured into a life with rhythm. Emergencies stop controlling your calendar. Alignment starts writing your schedule. You keep proof in a place you can reach when old fears prime themselves to speak. A document, a message, a memory of eye contact that told the truth. You hold it for a second and set it back. Reminded that you are not guessing anymore, the world remains complex and yet your path remains specific. Specificity is mercy. It keeps you from scattering yourself where you were never a sign. Callings that once felt too large now look like your size. You do not need to enlarge yourself or shrink yourself. You need only occupy yourself fully. You understand that joy can be quiet and still be real. You understand that peace can hum beneath a busy day and still be intact. You understand that love can be steady and still be breathtaking, when night returns and the house returns to its familiar hush. You stand at the same doorway and feel the echo of that first arrival. You say thank you with a depth that surprises you. You feel something answer from the other side, as if the corridor itself remembers too. Sleep takes you like a parent lifts a child who has finally stopped fidgeting. You rest without guarding. You rest like someone who trusts their name in the moth of heaven. Morning finds you already aligned. The surprise has become a cornerstone rather than a headline. You build on it with measured, grateful hands. As days turn to weeks, you notice the thread of that night woven through new choices. It is not loud. It is faithful. It keeps appearing at the seams, keeping everything from fraying. You have proof now, and proof is kind to the nervous system. It allows bravery to relax into identity. It allows hope to behave like fact. What remains to be done will be done. What is not yours to carry will be set down. What is yours to receive will continue to arrive with the same unmistakable signature. You are not chasing a miracle down the street anymore. You are living with it, learning its habits, and letting it learn yours. Partnership replaces pursuit. And quietly, consistently, beautifully, you keep becoming the person the surprise knew you already were the instant it crossed your threshold. The next mornings keep confirming the shape of that night. You wake with steadier hands and a spine that remembers its purpose. You do simple things with uncommon presence, and they stitch strength into the day. You put the kettle on and let the water speak its small language. You lay out what was given where it can be both safe and seen. You move like someone who trusts themselves in their own home. You begin a quiet practice that makes the arrival continue. 3 breaths to choose focus. 3 lines in a journal to note evidence of alignment. 3 small actions that match the blessing you received. The first week, you choose completion over perfection. You send the message that matters. You sign where integrity asks for your name. You accept help without letting it replace your ownership. Boundaries start feeling like door frames rather than fences. They give shape to your room so the furniture of your life can fit. People who respect the frames walk through comfortably. You set a rhythm that honors your nervous system. Work with a clean start and a clean stop, rest that is scheduled, not stolen. Nourishment that satisfies instead of numbing. The person connected to the surprise shows you through consistency that the moment was not a performance. Messages arrive when they said they would. Meetings begin on time. I'll handle it turns into visible results. You practice receiving without flinching. Compliments land and stay. Support arrives and integrates. You thank without deflecting. A small test appears on day 9. An echo from the past offers you a shortcut that smells like your old impatience. You take a breath and decline. The river you're on is wider and deeper than a ditch promising speed. Momentum builds the way dawn builds light, not in a jolt but in clear increments. Each increment is a page you can turn back to if doubt tries to claim amnesia. You clean one drawer that you used to collect forgotten things. The order you create becomes a metaphor inside you. To base a drag's purpose. Your words sharpen and soften at once. You say more with less. You stop rehearsing explanations for people committed to misunderstanding what you carry. You keep a small list titled Proof. You add 3 new lines each week. The list becomes an anchor for the mind on days when weather changes fast. When fatigue taps your shoulder, you answer it with kindness and structure. You rest on purpose. You say no without apology. You return to the work with presence rather than punishment. A new kind of courage shows up in your voice. It does not need value. It needs truth and posture. You speak and the room hears the shape of your conviction. On day 14, an unexpected window opens. Someone who had you filed under not yet moves you to now. You do not sprint. You step and keep your breath even. The blessing that entered your life keeps revealing its engineering. It was designed to multiply what you are, not replace it. It creates capacity by removing friction you thought was permanent. You keep an eye on the small leaks that once drained you, over-explaining, over-giving, overstaying. You tighten each valve with a simple rule. Give from overflow, not from injury. The calendar starts to carry the scent of alignment. Meetings you used to dread become rooms where you contribute and leave with energy intact. Tasks you postpone become satisfying because their purpose is clean. You make a plan for the next 30 days that fits your reality. One goal that changes your environment. One skill that increases your options. One relationship you water with presence. A person connected to this turning point continues to honor timing. They bring clarity when choices are many. They bring steadiness when schedules are tight. They bring truth when flattery would be easier. You reciprocate with reliability. You do what you say, you show your work. You bring questions as proposals, not complaints dressed in confusion. A pattern emerges. The right people get louder in your life and the wrong ones choose silence without drama. You let departures be dignified. You let arrivals be welcomed. You reintroduce yourself to yourself as often as necessary. I am ready stops being a sentence and becomes a daily setting. Readiness no longer spikes only when crisis knocks. On a quiet afternoon, you look around and notice that gratitude has become architecture. It holds up the roof of your days. It is not a mood, it is a material. You notice the difference between excitement and alignment. Excitement flares and fades. Alignment glows and guides. You choose blow over flare. 3 anchors serve you well. The morning check-in, the midday reset. The evening release. In the morning you aim, at midday you adjust. In the evening you empty your hands so rest has somewhere to sit. You keep a promise to move your body in a way that feels like respect. You stop using punishment as a strategy. You treat energy as a resource to cultivate, not a debt to collect. When an old trigger walks by, you recognize it without inviting it to dinner. Familiar does not equal required. You let the feeling pass through rather than build a nest. On day 21, a conversation clarifies your next quarter. The project has a backbone. The numbers make sense. The responsibilities are divided like a map that respects terrain. You commit to redundancy where it matters. Copies of what must be kept. Makeups of what cannot be lost. Plans for what will keep moving if you need a day to be human. You learn to celebrate quietly and thoroughly. A walk after a win, a note to your future self. A 5-minute pause to let satisfaction land. You adopt a simple filter for incoming requests. Does this move the story forward or does it distract? You learn that saying no protects the yes that matters. You become a better steward of your hours. Your environment begins reflecting your internal order, clothes you actually wear, tool you actually use, words you actually mean. The person who surprised you continues to align their actions with their intention. They offer transparency without being asked. They clear misunderstandings before they tangle. They choose partnership over performance. You build a language to gather them. That works when the weather changes. Clear up aids. Early flags. Respect for the time it takes to think. As the month closes, you inventory the changes that have settled rather than just visited. Sleep that restores. Work that contributes. People that fit. You write a new threshold note and place it next to the old one. The dates are close, but the distance traveled is measurable. You feel grateful without needing spectacle. The world remains loud, but you have built quiet that travels with you. You carry it into rooms that once scattered you. You leave with more than you arrived with. Your future no longer looks like a clef. It looks like a road you can walk with a pack that fits. You know where the water is. You know where the shade is. You know how to pace your steps. You honor the night that began it by living days that extend it. The surprise is no longer a single point. It is a line moving forward. Your life draws it cleanly. When doubt auditions, you let it perform for a moment and then thank it for its effort. You choose the cast that can carry the next act. You keep your theater in order. You feel the blessing's architecture in your bones. It shows up in how you decide, how you rest, how you stand. It is not something you hold tightly. It is something you live inside. Your pace is humane, your standard is honest. Your direction is clear. You are not rushing to arrive, you are arriving every day. You keep this alignment alive. You remember that urgency opened the door but steadiness furnished the house. You keep both in their right places. You let urgency ring the bell only when truth needs a path cleared. Opportunities widen at the same rate as your capacity. You say yes where your feet can follow. You say no where your center would pay too high a price. You guard mornings like sacred ground. You protect bedtime like a ceremony. You treat transitions as the places where excellence grows. You keep delight in the room. Not everything must be serious to be significant. Laughter learns your schedule and arrives on time. When the next surprise approaches, it does not crash into your life. It aligns with the cadence you set. It knocks with the same signature you now recognize on sight. You open from a place of strength. You receive without losing yourself. You continue without needing to announce the continuation. What began with a 2-minute countdown matured into a season with staying power. The night taught you presence, the days taught you practice. Together they taught you peace with a backbone. You will keep walking this with a calm that once seemed impossible. You will look back and see how every small choice stacked into this new foundation. You will keep writing proof with your steps. And quietly, naturally, faithfully, the life that came to meet you keeps meeting you each morning. You choose to be here for it, awake, aligned, and ready. The next chapter unfolds without noise. It prefers clean rooms, clear eyes, and a gentle grip on the wheel. You learn to keep beauty simple so it can breathe. You keep choosing completion over drama. Little wins stack like bricks no one notices until the wall is strong. Strength loves to be ordinary. On a weekday morning, a message arrives with proof you once begged the sky to show. It is quiet, stamped, and undeniable. You smile because you do not need to shout, you take the proof and file it where faith can reach it. Not on a high shelf, not under a bed within arm's length of your daily life. Evidence belongs where you live. A shadow from the past tries one last trick. It sends a rumor shaped like concern and a warning shaped like a favor. You look through both and see the empty center. You answer with calm, not fire. Calm is heavier than chaos and it wins by staying. You keep your steps even and the trick dissolves. Your days begin to flow like a river that knows its banks. There is movement and there is safety. The sound comforts everyone who stands near it. You practice the art of the good stop. You end tasks when they are finished instead of when you are exhausted. Stopping well is how you keep going. People start to notice the way peace follows you. They are drawn to the steadiness more than the story. Your presence is a lighthouse doing its job. You refuse to bargain with your value. You offer your work and not your worth. You shake hands with clarity and let confusion look for a different table. The person tied to your turning point keeps proving they are who they said. They meet deadlines like promises. They make room for your pace like respect. Together you build a simple language that does not break in bad weather. Here's where I am. Here's what I need, here's what I can give. Truth becomes the tool both of you reach for first. A new invitation appears with clean lines. It matches your design instead of demanding a costume. You say yes because your feet can follow. You keep a small vow each morning. Degree yourself before you greet the world. Your own eyes deserve the first kindness. Here is a night when silence sits beside you and feels like a person. It does not ask for anything. It gives everything. You lean into it and sleep arrives like a gift that knows your door code. Your home changes shape slowly. What you no longer need leaves without ceremony. What you truly love gets the best light. You start using a 3-part compass to guide your days. Align your focus in the morning. Build one real thing by midday. Close your day with gratitude that names specifics. A second message arrives different from the first but carrying the same signature. Doors open that once needed push you. Ingas that squeaked are suddenly smooth. You notice your laughter is louder and your anger is cleaner. Laughter fills rooms that deserve it. Anger draws a sharp line and then lets go. An old ache visits and you don't hide it. You give a tea and a chair and a time limit. When the clock rings, it thanks you and leaves. You are learning that tenderness is not the opposite of power. It is power with a volume turned to wisdom. You use it like a skilled hand uses a fine tool. The world keeps trying to sell you hurry. You keep buying rhythm. Rhythm fits, hurry breaks. You watch a friend step into their own moment and you bless it fully. Envy has no oxygen where abundance is understood. Another's rise does not steal your sky. Numbers begin to agree with hope. Plans meet resources in wombs that used to be empty. You stop apologizing for success that you prayed for and labored toward. There is a day you wear a color you once avoided. It doesn't swallow you, it suits you. Griveled hood on you. You keep boundaries like wilt-ended hedges. They are living, green, and trimmed with care. People see them and understand your shape. A quiet confidence moves into your voice and pays rent on time. You do not hunt for approval the way you used to. Approval visits anyway because truth attracts it. You remember the first knock and smile at how much has changed. That sound turned into a season. A season turned into structure. A challenge arrives that would have flattened the old you. It meets the new scaffolding and loses its balance. You handle it with a checklist and a glass of water. You practice delight on purpose, a walk that needs no reason. A song that needs no audience. Your joy does not ask permission to exist. Partnership gets tested and passes. Misunderstandings show up and get solved while still small. You both stay on the same team even when the play is messy. You find yourself caring for your energy like a gardener cares for soil. You rotate tasks to avoid depletion. You feed the ground that feeds you. A letter arrives with a name you haven't seen in years. It contains a pure apology and a door to peace. You accept what is true and leave the rest to time. You earn to rest without earning it. Rest is not a trophy. It is a practice. You nap like someone who wants to be strong tomorrow. Your calendar now has edges. Work sits inside them and does not spill. Life lives both inside and outside without asking for a war. On a bus, a stranger says something kind and it lands deeper than they can know. You let it sink, you keep it because kindness is currency. You begin teaching others the small rituals that save you. Phi breath, Phi line, Phi action. People try it and watch their days change shape. A new door appears where there used to be a wall. You touch it and it opens without creaking. Some walls were only waiting for the right hand. You embrace patience like an athlete learns form. You stay tall through the waiting. Waiting becomes training instead of punishment. The person connected to your surprise brings news that expands your map. It is more responsibility and more freedom at once. You accept both with steady hands. You upgrade your environment to match your future. Tools near the work, light near the desk, quiet near the bed. You understand the difference between busy and fruitful. Busy wrings you out. Fruitful fills you up. You choose the work that bears fruit. On a cloudy afternoon, you feel a surge of old fear and you answer it with data. You open your proof list and read what you have lived. Biology calms when truth is fed. Your steps at dawn sound like agreement. Floors do not groan. They welcome. Even coffee tastes like partnership. You find a photo of yourself from a season where hope was thin. You bless that face for not quitting. You put the photo somewhere your future can see. The surprise that began this journey keeps teaching new lessons. It asks you to share credit, keep humility, and stay curious. You accept the curriculum. Someone asks for your help and you give it without emptying yourself. You offer tools, not your back home. You leave stronger because generosity was clean. A small celebration fits into a weekday evening. You light a candle and write down 10 things you now believe. The flame nods like it agrees. You are invited into rooms you used to watch from the hallway. You walk in with posture, not performance. Posture tells the room you respect yourself and the work. Feedback finds you and you listen without shrinking. You shape it into improvement instead of armor. The result is sharper, kinder, and more durable. You choose mentors by their fruits, not their volume. Quiet giants teach you moves that last. You learn to carry heavy things without drama. The mirror keeps telling the truth. You can hold eye contact with yourself for longer now. You see a face that earned its calm. An evening arrives with no plans and no guilt. You sit still and let your breath become a metronome. Presence performs the miracle again. You learn the strength of the gentle no. It closes doors that lead to rooms you've outgrown. It frees your sources for where it fits. You start planting long projects that won't bloom for months. You water them anyway. Faith is patient muscle. A message lands from far away with the same quiet signature. Alignment is global when it is real. You smile at how wide the river is. You build redundancies with love for your future self. You save coppers and back up wisdom. You make it easy to be you on days when the wind is loud. Your circle grows healthier. Some step closer, some step back. All motion becomes honest. You release the urge to narrate every victory. Not every win needs a witness. Some victories are more beautiful in silence. The clock that once chased you now walks beside you. Time shares its rhythm when you respect it. You move together like friends who have learned each other's pace. At the end of a long week, you lay your head down and feel held, not by noise, not by fear, but by structure made of kindness. You fall asleep inside your own yes. The next morning, the sky is the same, but you are not. You hold your cup with the confidence of someone who can carry full things. You walk into your day like a person who trusts their road. A sudden change of plans tries to rattle you. It does not succeed. Flexibility is now part of your strength, not a sign of chaos. You keep beauty visible and clutter rare. Beauty teaches your nervous system what to expect. Clutter steals your language and you have things to say. You practice gratitude that names names. You thank the hands, the hours, the helpers. Gratitude becomes a chain that pulls more good to your shore. You reread your 3 words and add a 4th that arrived with experience. The sentence becomes a banner over your days. It keeps your decisions in one family. You notice your patience with others is kinder now that you are kind to yourself. Mercy stops skipping you. It sits down and shares your meal. The person who started this with you brings a new idea that scares you a little. The good kind of scare, the stretch that respects your spine. You breathe, nod, and draw the first line. You become a student again on purpose. You read slowly, practice steadily, and learn with joy. Beginner's mind meets expert's discipline. A small storm rolls through a Tuesday and you do not sink. You shut windows, brew tea, and keep working. Weather is weather. Foundation is foundation. You keep choosing clear over clever. Clear wins more doors. Clear sleeps better. A phone call reconnects you to a dream you filed under too late. It is not too late. It was waiting for the right you. You add one tiny ritual to the end of each day. Place your hand flat on your chest and say, "Good job for showing up." Your heart believes you and recovers fast. The season widens again and you do not grip. You expand your stride, not your stress. Expansion can be graceful. Someone asks how you began. You tell them about a knock, a voice, and a night that felt like a hinge. You tell them the truth. The miracle love structure. You hear a familiar whisper that used to command you. It sounds small now, you bless its concern and walk on. You keep the windows clean because you like the light. Light likes you back, fumes with light tell the truth. Your future sends signals through small coincidences. You don't chase them, you nod to them and stay present with today's work. The second challenge rises and you answer with the team you've built inside. The brave one speaks first, the organized one takes notes. The kind one closes the meeting. You celebrate progress with presence, not pressure. You go to bed before midnight because tomorrow deserves a whole you. You wake up early because hope enjoys mornings. The rhythm holds through surprises, delays, and sudden wins. You do not sprint every day. You don't need to. Marathon muscle outlasts firework energy. You give yourself permission to love this life while you build the next chapter. Contentment and abhijukha hold hands. They walk better together, and still, quietly, steadily, faithfully, you are becoming the person that first knock knew you to be. The one who receives well. The one who builds well, the one who carries light without propping it.